Hey y'all! See, changed it this time from hey guys to hey y'all. Figured I'd throw a little Louisiana up in here. But y'all, I am so pumped about sharing this message with y'all because this one is like close to home, if you know what I mean. And also, I just like to point out, my shirt says crush. It's more than a feeling. Y'all, it's more than a feeling because look at my new Bible. I am stoked to the max. It says Sadie Huff, which will be my new last name, and Jennie Allen gave me this. Thank you, Jennie. I love it. And it makes my heart so happy to now have a Bible with my future last name. So that's exciting. Anywho, I just am really pumped about that and thought y'all should know. But I'm excited about this message today too because I'm gonna go off of the verse in Ephesians chapter 5, and it says, "Therefore be imitators of God as beloved children and walk in love as Christ loved us and gave himself up for us, a fragrant offering and sacrifice to God." So mainly I really want to focus today on that first line, therefore be imitators of God. And I love that idea of being an imitator of God. You know, my whole life I loved imitating people. It just was so fun to me. If I couldn't do anything, I could imitate somebody pretty dang well. And I still love to imitate people. I love to imitate my friends. I love to imitate my family. I love to imitate people I don't know that I think are pretty funny. I don't know. I just like to imitate them. I think I can do voices like that. And it's actually something that I got from my dad. My dad is the best imitator of all time. He could just talk to somebody, turn around and tell you the story, and you can trust that that story is almost exactly how it happened. So when I read this verse, therefore be imitators of God, I got so excited because I was like, imitator, I can do that. I got this. Me and my dad, we're good at this. And I was like, man, I'm good at imitating other people, but am I really good at imitating God? And it kind of was this challenge to me. So I thought about it. What makes somebody a good imitator? How do you know how to imitate somebody? And, that's actually something my friends ask me a lot. I'll imitate somebody. They're like, oh, that's so accurate. That's so them. How did you think to do that? How did you notice that? And I think that that's what it is. It's taking notice of the things that not everybody would notice. It's not just hearing what they said, it's hearing how they said what they said. It's not just seeing what they look like, it's seeing what made them look like that. It's not just seeing the way that they presented themselves in a room, it's seeing how they stood, how their mannerisms were, how their interaction was with other people, how the voice inflection did at the end or the beginning of their word. It's really being intentional at noticing what they said. One of my favorite people to imitate, and actually I think imitation is a good way to learn from people because you really get to realize, man, I'm actually learning from the way that you said that. I'm learning from what you said, but I'm learning for how you said it. I'm learning for how you talked to that person and made them feel very loved. And I love to imitate Priscilla Shirer. So I watched this video of Priscilla so many times, this video called Who's Your Daddy? And basically the message that she's preaching is that she has to remind herself who her dad is, because when she reminds herself who her God is, then she realizes who she is. She realizes that's who I belong to. So in a sense, Priscilla is kind of giving us this message of, I got to remind myself of who God is so that I can imitate who God is. And she said, you know what I tell myself when I look in the mirror every day? And I'm about to imitate Priscilla. She goes, you know what I tell myself when I look in the mirror every day? I take a good look at myself and I say, girl, who's your daddy? You know what I tell myself? I say he is the first and the last. He's the beginning of the end. He's the keeper of creation and the creator of all. He's the architect of the universe and the manager of all time. He always was, always is, always will be, unmoved, unchanged, undefeated, and never undone. He was bruised but brought healing. He was pierced but eased pain. And she goes on for 3 minutes, and I can literally do all 3 minutes. But I give you that example because I've watched this so many times that now I can recite this, even the way that she said it. But the beautiful thing is Priscilla had studied this so much to know who God was that she could recite, you were the first and the last. You're the beginning and the end. You are the keeper of creation and you are the creator of all. You are the architect of the universe and the manager of all time. You always were, always will be, unmoved, unchanged, undefeated, and never undone. She had to know know the character of God, to be able to repeat that to the people in that crowd that day, and to be able to live out the life of the confident assurance that comes with knowing who God is. And so I think to be an imitator of God, we have to know God. We have to intentionally know the details about who he is, just like I would have to know the details about you to imitate you. You have to know the voice, what he sounds like, the sweetness to his voice, the strength to his voice, the fruit of the Spirit that he is. You have to know that he did everything in love. You have to know that he walked within love. You have to know that he would say that the greatest of these is last. He would say that the servants are the greatest of all. He would say the opposite of what the world would say. And so if we're going to imitate God, then we got to walk in love. Then we got to exude the fruit of the Spirit. Then we got to be kind to those who aren't kind to us. And we got to get rid of the pride, humble ourselves to exalt his name, and be willing to serve. If we're going to imitate God, then we have to know who God is. We have to listen to his voice. We have to read his word, figure out the character of our God, so that we can go out to the world. And as Paul would say, we can be the aroma of Christ. And so I just wanted to encourage you with that word. And I want to read this verse one more time. Be imitators of God as beloved children, and walk in love as Christ loved us. I love that. And walk in love as Christ loved us. That's the first imitation. I see that Christ loves, and so I'm going to walk in love. And you might be overwhelmed by the thousands and thousands of great characteristics of who God is. Say, I don't know how to imitate that, Sadie. I'm just human. But if you can start with one, start with love. And from love, many things will come. And so I hope this is encouraging to you today. Go listen to Priscilla Shirer, Who's Your Daddy? It will encourage you. You will be standing up on your feet, running in a circle if you're like me. And hopefully you'll memorize all 3 minutes too, because if you get that in your spirit, I am telling you, there is a confidence that comes when you know what, God, I'm going to be an imitator of you. And if I'm an imitator of you and you're my God, that means you're my dad, and that's who I belong to. Whoo! This world can't stop me.